Number 8 is vector versus event signature. Okay, so this one, I like this one a lot. So it's basically, it's like, is it a spike in your reality and like it happens and is done? Or is it something that actually goes? And it can spike and they just keep going, but is there a huge drop off at the end? So basically, events spike, vectors stabilize. This can be kind of like a one-night stand is a perfect example of this, which again, I don't personally think is a good idea. I don't want to speak ill of people who do that. There's this whole conversation on the internet right now about body count and people having like hundreds of people on their body count. Again, I was married to a former porn actress. She had hundreds of people on her body count. It was her job to have sex with people on camera like this. She was very good at it. It was really hard for me to come to terms with that, and that was a period in her life. And she was getting paid. And it was like clean, safe. There were other people in the room, like it's a whole thing. And so I want to basically plant the seed here for guys and for women. I really highly suggest that you think very deeply as to whether or not that is a conversation you want to have with your spouse if you end up getting married down the road. Same with like if you want to do OnlyFans, that will then be a conversation like with your kids, why you did that. And if you think that that's a good or a bad thing, and there's all about like women empowerment, and it is a long conversation, and your significant other you will think about this with them very deeply, and they will think about it and about you very deeply. So it's a little bit of a sub note here on this. So an event versus a vector. When you have a spike and then it drops off like a one-night stand, is that something that stabilizes your life? Or does it add chaos into your life? It can be fun and exciting, and you have this very powerful connection, but is this something that actually creates the foundation for you to really achieve the benchmarks that you want? And I talk a lot about the difference between benchmarks and goals. In this case, it doesn't really matter. Does this help propel you to where you're going, or does this make you feel more anxious? Does it make you feel potentially shameful? Does it make you feel just dysregulated because now you don't even know you had this deep, intimate connection with this other person? And do you actually know like who they are? Do you know what they care about? You shared such deep interrelating, and yet are they there in your life anymore? And is that the type of experience that is going to ultimately stabilize you and your goals, or is it going to basically throw you off the horse? So in my opinion, after intensity, the relationship should become more clear, more stabilized, and more consistent. You should, after you introduce intimacy into your partnership, it should be a binding and a bonding experience. It should not be the experience itself. It should be something that is done and given as a gift and received as a gift. I don't know, not to sound weird, but like as a communion of the actual relationship itself to both stabilize and to be something that is really mutually shared through joy. Ultimately, a true vector, as we've been talking about it makes your life in a way actually simpler, more clear, more stable. An event makes it more chaotic, more, sometimes chaos is fun. I know a lot of people love chaos. I personally, it's like you want to ride that edge really carefully and have controlled chaos. But an actual vector, it's like you're surfing that wave. And I tell you what, at 40, and I've had a lot of experience, when you can find that edge of riding chaos, riding intimacy with your partner, it is so intimately more powerful than any event that you would have. And so I don't even know how to like just describe this without being vulgar. Like I talk about this a lot with my younger clients. I would really counsel you to think about it deeply.